Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Sobriety University. Today, I'm going to be talking about 3 reasons why you can't stay off marijuana. I see this a lot, unfortunately, is that people get sober, they're really motivated, they're really fired up, and then after maybe 6 months, a year, maybe even 2 years, they slip back right back into their old habits. And it's almost like they never even stopped to begin with, and they're left confused, wondering like, hey, I was making all this progress. It seems like a lifetime ago that I was sober. What happened? Again, this is more common than you might think, and there's a few main reasons why this happens. So by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding if this is you, how you can prevent this, and what some of these reasons are, so that you have a better understanding of and an awareness of what's to come once you quit marijuana. So the first thing is that your why isn't strong enough. Your reason to quit, maybe it's really strong in that first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it might be, but then that starts to fade and you kind of forget why you decided to quit marijuana in the first place. So this is really important to kind of always keep on top of mind the reasons why you decided to quit, right? Maybe it was to have better relationships. Maybe it was because you had terrible relationships to begin with. Maybe it's because you wanted to be better in your career and have more energy and be less lazy. Maybe you were just sick and tired of kind of being a loser and just feeling like, hey, all my friends are excelling, they're all doing things with their lives, and I'm stuck in the same place I was when I was a teenager, smoking weed every day. Maybe it's a financial thing. Maybe, like I said before, you want to make more money and have a better career. But two, you're spending all your money that you're making on weed. And I know I did this for sure. I spent a lot of cash on getting high. And I was left pretty broke when I finally quit. So that was a huge motivator for me too. Maybe it's your health and your wellness. Maybe you're not taking good care of yourself because you're smoking weed all the time. I know that was for me for sure. I worked out maybe once a week, and I ate like crap. I went to McDonald's every night. I ate donuts, and it was just like, dude, once those munchies hit, for me, it was game over. So that was a big motivator for me. I wanted to have a healthy lifestyle again. And whatever the reason is for you, it's important to dial in and remember the reasons you decided to quit in the first place, because this is really going to help when you're further along in your journey, maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you're feeling maybe a little stuck, a little bored, think life isn't moving forward the way you want. And that's just, guys, that's a natural progression of life. So that is the second reason why you might be struggling to stay off marijuana, is because you think it's going to be easy. You think it's going to be a smooth ride the whole way. No, guys, there was a reason you're using marijuana. There's a reason that you couldn't just, live life on life's terms, to say bluntly, pun intended. Life can be difficult. There's challenges. We're human. We feel emotions. We go through things. There's memories, stored memories, traumas that come up once we get sober that we have to deal with. Otherwise, we're going to get pushed back into our old ways. There can be this expectation that, okay, it's just the weed, and once I quit the weed, everything's going to be good. No, there's a lot of work you're going to have to do on yourself. There's a lot of, character building. There's a lot of changes you're going to have to make about who you are as a person. It's not just like I quit weed and suddenly, boom, everything I've ever wanted comes into my life. Sometimes, you got to start to build some things up. You got to start to learn some new skills. You got to start to get out there and do, I guess, the basic things that most people who aren't smoking weed all the time do. But you're potentially a little bit behind. So it's going to take a little time to catch up. And then once you catch up, you got to maintain that. I know a lot of stoners can be a bit lazy. I was super lazy. I just wanted to lay in my bed, play video games, watch TV. And that wasn't conducive to building a successful life, to having relationships, right? So I had to train myself to stop being lazy and start to be going out there every single day, making progress towards my goals, whether it's fitness, whether it's finance, whether it is relationship building, right? As you guys know, we have a dating channel, and I had to learn how to go out and meet women and set up dates and do that whole gambit, right? And it was really hard because I was basically 27 and had not really had a ton of dates in my life. And when I did, it was like years before, like 10 to 11 years before that. And so I was pretty rusty, but I knew that I had to go out there and kind of stop being lazy and hoping that the universe just gives me everything I want. So this might be something that you have to face for yourself when you get sober is, okay, how am I going to start to put together a plan to make progress, incremental progress every single day towards the life that I really want, right? And this kind of goes back into the why too. Like, what do you want your dream life to look like? Maybe there's a big part of the why could be like, hey, I wanted to quit all this stuff and I wanted to um, stop having my life be this negative thing. But what do you really want? This is something important to write down too, especially if you guys are journalers. And if you're not, I recommend getting into it. What do I want to be doing with my life? What kind of money do I want to be having? What kind of relationships do I want to have? Where do I want to live? Like all these little details are going to be important, especially, and I probably should have said this in the first point here, but it kind of just came up now naturally, is that when those days get tough, because like I said in point two, it's not going to be easy all the time. You're going to have to really tap into the vision you want for your life. What am I looking towards? What am I trying to build? What kind of relationships, health, wellness, whatever it might be. Again, what do I want for myself and how am I going to continue to go towards that path? And the real question comes up, nah, man, is really smoking weed right now and getting a quick high going to help me go towards that goal, or is it going to derail me? And for what most people I find is that it derails them, because then they start smoking every day again, they lose all their momentum and they feel bad about themselves. And you can just kind of see that cycle just go down and down and down. So really remember, guys, why you're doing this. And the most important piece is, what is this all leading towards? And then as well, that it will be tough. There will be days that you question yourself, that will be really a lot of anger or pain or fear or whatever emotions that we've been trying to avoid with the weed. That's going to come up and you're going to have to face it and sit with it. But I can promise you this, when you sit with it and learn to embrace it to the best that you can, it's not easy at all, accept that it's happening to the best that you can, then what happens is those emotions, just like all emotions, it subsides and it will be replaced with happy emotions again, with feel good, joy, all the things, inspiration, what we really want. But unfortunately, we're humans, so we can't have that all the time. And it might come faster than you think. Maybe the next day, maybe in the evening, right? I know once if I had a hard day, towards the evening, I would start to feel a little better because I knew a new day was coming tomorrow, and I made it through that tough day. So you will get rewarded for going through hard times, guys. The last reason why you might not be able to stay off marijuana is because you don't have a good support system. I see this a lot with people that are getting sober. Maybe they come to me for coaching or whatever, and they get sober, they're feeling fired up, but then they decide, hey, I don't need this anymore. I don't need the help. I can do this on my own. And I almost always see those people back at some point. And so having a support system is absolutely critical, guys, for long-term sobriety. Not just support, but support from people who are also clean, right? Who are also off marijuana. Because if all your support people are people that are also partying and doing stuff that you don't want to be doing anymore, like it's just a matter of time, typically, before you go back and you start using again. And that's not what we want, guys. We want to be with people that can remind us and motivate us to stay clean, to stay sober. And so you might be asking now, okay, how do I find these people, Joel? Like, that's great. Like, all my friends are stoners. My family doesn't get this. They think I'm weird. Trust me, I get it. Well, what I went to is I went to these anonymous groups. And if you have a brain cell left, you can put these, you can understand what I'm saying. There's these free meetings that you can go to. And I went to them, multiple times a week. I think we had 2 a week in my home, where I lived in Wisconsin. And I would go to them. I would connect with other people who were getting sober. We would go through some literature and kind of the program that is lined out to quit and stay off weed. I was able to share my experience, my strength, my hope, everything that I was going through and building towards. And this just helped me realize that I'm not alone in this, that there are other people just like me trying to find their way, trying to put this habit to the side and, obviously, like, let it burn up in flames, pun intended. So I would really recommend checking those out. If you really can't figure out what this group is, DM me on Instagram at Joel E. Henry or at Sobriety University _ and I'll be able to share these meetings with you. I just can't talk about them publicly because there's some anonymity, just boundaries that they have with the group, and I don't want to break those. So, but again, if you graduated first grade, you can probably put these two together. So these meetings, again, are going to be super crucial. It's really important to have a support network. When people go at it alone, what I find is that they kind of are like, well, hey, man, a big reason I got sober was to have great relationships and to start, building a good social network and stuff, and have that bucket fulfilled. Because when we lose that marijuana, I guess, and I wouldn't say lose it, when we find freedom from it, our natural humanness kind of comes back, and that humanness wants to connect with other people, right? That's what we're meant to do. And weed gives us that kind of, I mean, I guess there's moments of connection, but it's typically with ourselves, and it's not like really, um, it's not really focused on other people. So when we get clean, it's like, okay, how do I start to build these relationships? But when people say, hey, I'm good, I can go on this alone, after a while they're like, well, dude, like I got sober, I'm feeling pretty lonely, like I don't have a support network. Wow, that wasn't really worth it. I might as well go back to the thing that was giving me some sort of connection and pleasure. Well, that's marijuana, I guess. So why that is why it's so important to have a support network. Having people that understand, again, what you're going through, your struggles, your wins, your highs, your lows, all that. And these groups are going to be a really good place to do that as well. And I'm sure you can also meet people that, are not smoking weed, or maybe just not having, maybe they never had that problem. So there won't be that commonality, but they'll still be sober and be doing healthy things. And so that will be good for you. You can find people at the gym playing basketball. I don't know if you guys are into church, you can go to meet people in the church group and stuff like that. There's a lot of different ways that you can meet people that are not using substances and start to build some relationships that aren't just like, sober focused. I have a ton of sober friends, and I really appreciate them, but they don't understand what it was like to be addicted to weed. And that's okay. But I know because they aren't using substances that I can spend time with them and connect with them and grow and learn, and that whole amazing pieces of relationships for sure. My girlfriend also doesn't smoke weed, and that's she's never has and doesn't drink either, and that's really important for me. I want, obviously, if I'm going to have someone that close to me in my life, they got to be on the clean and narrow as well. So guys, I hope this video was able to enlighten you and give you some inspiration and hope if you have been struggling to quit and have been relapsing a ton, or if you're about to quit and you just kind of want, a little accurate description of what potentially could come in sobriety, and just some big pointers. Remember, just to remember why you're doing this. Remember that it's going to be tough, but there's also going to be beautiful times that come with it, and then also to get out there and find that support system. If you guys do need some one-on-one accountability in quitting marijuana, definitely I invite you to schedule a consult with me down below in the description. It'll be a 30 to 40-minute call where I'll really break down and try to understand the best that I can what you're struggling with and how I can help, and even if I can help at all in the first place. I've helped dozens of people quit marijuana, and I know that there's some very key principles that once you can implement, it makes the process a lot easier, a lot smoother. Like I said, it won't be super easy, but it'll be easier than if you're just going to try to quit cold turkey and white knuckle it and, do it just for the sake of quitting weed, because that's not very fun. We want to really dial in a game plan for you of like, okay, these are the things I'm working towards. How can I make steps each and every single day towards those goals? And what I find is that when we set that plan for people, the cravings kind of go away, because it's just like, hey, like, you're right, like this really isn't beneficial towards my goals and dreams, and they can finally see that, and it's a big mindset shift. So that's what I'm here to help you with. Have that mindset shift for yourself, that mindset shift, and then from there be able to start to separate from the weed, find that freedom, and then be able to build the life that you really want. So I appreciate you guys tuning into the video. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.